everybody. Clearing. Okay, here we go. So divine masculine check-in. I'm just gonna start shuffling a whole bunch of decks. We are going to look at what are the divine masculines clearing at this time, what's going on regarding what they think of this connection, what they feel about it on their heart space, what they want for this connection, what they are doing towards the connection, what is their biggest challenge at this time, what is the spirit guided solution, intuitively guided, energetic solution. What is the direction of the connection? What would the divine masculines say to the divine feminines about these things that are coming up? And advice for the divine feminines watching. Oh. I was told to shuffle a different deck. Okay, advice for divine feminines. Okay. What are the divine masculines clearing up about these connections and what they're thinking, what they have thought in the past that they're no longer thinking? The moon, ruler of flux and reflux. So they are starting to see the patterns, the ebb and flow, the hot and cold, the in and out, the drawn to and then scared or repelled or neutral. They're starting to see that moving into the past. They're balancing out with this. They're seeing the pattern. They're no longer oblivious to the changing of the tides in the connection. What are they experiencing now with that? The guard of blockage. Okay, so they have had to withdraw their energy, possibly block, possibly stop communicating, taking space. It doesn't matter if they are physically blocking, just not communicating, pulling back a little bit, or not talking about certain specific topics. The Two of Swords is a need to go deep within. Usually there is somebody blindfolded, and these two swords represent conflicting truths, crossroads, decisions, major life path kind of. If I go this way, one thing, if I go this way, another. So we could say this is them thinking about why this connection has been hot and cold, and each of those swords represents the flux and reflux here. These can be two people, these can be two paradigms, whatever it is that's been keeping the counterpart from coming forward. This one sword could be that truth, and the other sword their heart's knowing. So they are dropping in, looking at the pattern and figuring out what to do. What does their heart say? What would they say to you about? I feel stuck. Yeah, they don't know. They really don't know. So it's just too soon to know, I would say. With the moon here, we're just getting into the vicinity of knowing this pattern, of seeing it, and then trying to decide what does that mean. So divine masculines feel stuck. What advice do we have for the feminines regarding this? Five of Cups. So this is a grieving morning. So you might be feeling in your energy, divine feminines, this kind of ho-hum, like maybe it is all lost here. Maybe it isn't meant to streamline. Maybe it isn't meant to, go forward. Maybe this person isn't my counterpart. So watch where you are feeling that, divine feminines, because if you're not grateful for the things, this is like the 5 stages of grieving. So if you're sitting around in melancholy, you're in waiting energy, you're thinking that things can never get better here, you have some accountability. Partly you might be feeling into your masculine feeling stuck, but what you do for self, you do for twins. So if you can move through this, if you can find some way to move through this energy, it's an energetic tandem effort here. Divine masculines are feeling stuck. They don't know where to go. So I'm hearing be that light in the fog, divine feminines, and keep going, keep growing, keep glowing up. let go of whatever's happened and really tap in, really use the lessons, see the gratitude, count your blessings here, and move forward fully. I'm being told that each one knows what to do next, but there's some sort of a curiosity about whether your divine counterpart is going to be in that future with you. So really look at, is what you were hoping your counterpart would join you with still valuable and beneficial for you in your own right? Let go of needing your counterpart to show up in whatever you're thinking about doing next, and really drop in, is it good for you? That's how we align. That's how we align with ourselves, and ultimately a counterpart is when we are genuinely in alignment with what is really best for us. Whomever shows up in alignment with that, it is far more streamlined. It is a good thing. So keep working on your own foundations, divine feminines. What are the divine masculines thinking? Have they thought of you in the past that they're letting go? Four of Wands in the reverse, Lord of perfected work. So they used to think that this connection could not be perfected for some reason, that it wasn't in the right container, that you didn't measure up to some expectation that they've had about how their life should go, about what it should look like. There were contrary beliefs, there were obstacles. So they're letting go of the idea that this could not be the answer to prayer or the solution for their life, or that it might not be their picture perfect. They're letting go of that. Lord of perfected work. They realize that it is not finished, and they're letting go of I'm hearing control issues, perfectionist tendencies, judgment that this isn't that thing. They're letting go of any criticism they have for this having not been perfect yet. What are they in now with it? Page of Pentacles, kindness. Yeah, we've been seeing this card. So in the reverse, Page of Pentacles is really, they're catching each thought about you, and they're being more kind. They're being more gentle. That doesn't mean they were cruel before. It just means that instead of being judgmental, they are saying, oh, that's just where we were then. It doesn't need to be the everything. Forgiveness. They are forgiving the situation for not having been perfect from the get-go. They're seeing how there's a little bit more sincerity, work, acceptance, room to budge that they can have. That doesn't necessarily mean that, like, that perfectionist thing. They're cutting some slack here. What would they say? No fear. So they're getting rid of, they're seeing that fear that this wasn't perfect, fear that they weren't manifesting something perfect. They're putting down that fear because they're letting go of the judgmental attitude. When they come into kindness, they're eradicating fear. What do the feminines need to know about this? Yeah, things are going to start moving forward. Chariot in the reverse. This means that in time, see that the darker horse rearing up? That's the shadow side. Still some shadow work needs to be done. So that's your exercising gratitude and forgiving as well. So again, tandem effort. So forgive your masculine for needing to work on the shadow side, and do the work in yourself to come out of fear. That doesn't mean that you can convince yourself not to have fear about somebody if it's not warranted. If you can feel that there's still an imbalance in the connection, that's not your thing to overcompensate and pretend it doesn't exist. You coming out of fear allows you not to settle. It allows for this person or someone else to come in when they actually meet you in love. So it alleviates the waiting. But your divine counterpart here is likely getting rid of fear that something was amiss. Something wasn't quite the way they expected their person, their situation to be. And so now they're no longer afraid of that. What were they feeling on the heart space that they are getting rid of? Four of Cups, Lord of Blended Pleasure in the reverse. So I'm getting actually a third party situation here. Blended pleasure. The Four of Cups is like things from the past, usually, that we missed an opportunity. So I'm getting a third party vibe here. So for people with third party situations, this is where they are no longer really wanting to miss a chance with your connection because of other people. Like the grass wasn't greener kind of energy. They're now coming back around. I'm not a total fan of that, but that doesn't mean that all hope is lost or all is lost. I feel like some of the divine counterparts needed to experience final lessons, more lessons with other people, or to try and make whatever this perfectionist template, the illusion of the perfected template that they were still hanging on to, they had to go try and make it work, is what I'm seeing here. But they did learn that the grass wasn't greener. So that doesn't need to be a person. That can be workaholism. That can be any kind of life circumstances that pulled them away. Children, for some, I just heard, religious beliefs. They thought that they could go in a different direction and forget about this. But now they're realizing they don't want to have their cake and eat it too. They like literally think that there is more pleasure to be had just with you than whatever this other thing was that they still thought they needed to do. What are they experiencing now? Yeah, the illusion, devil in the reverse. So the illusion of the grass being greener, it's being released. And good on my own. They don't need those crutches. They don't need those addictions. They don't need, so addictions could have been something. They don't need the, I heard machismo of multiple partners. There's some insecurity that they're realizing they can be good on their own. They don't need these crutches, these codependencies. What for the feminines? Yeah, Knight of Wands. This is the passionate knight that does ride up in the golden armor. So this is true happiness. So there is more of a connection available now. Divine counterparts know what is making them happy. The grass wasn't greener. So this is really one of the two Knight of Wands cards that I like from two different decks, my Starseed Oracle deck and this one. This one always makes me feel like the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. So the divine masculines are now realizing they don't want to treat you that way, divine feminines. So yeah, this is good stuff to start really feeling it in the energetic realms, because when they come back, they will mean it. If they do say to you the grass wasn't greener, or they tried elsewhere and whoever it was or whatever it was just didn't compare to the actual pleasure they have with you. They can't walk between worlds anymore. This is truly a much better connection, is what I'm hearing. What are they letting go of on the heart space specifically about you, divine feminine? Oh, the Chariot in the reverse. So Lord of the Triumph of Light. We had the Chariot in the reverse already. So they are letting go of stalling, leaving space for not having progress. I heard even taking you for granted. They're letting go of that. What are they experiencing now? 10 of Cups. They really see you as emotionally fulfilling. The grass wasn't greener. They're now coming around and meaning this, that you are their happiness. It feels unfair in the reverse. So they're starting to, instead of feeling like this was almost perfect and they had to go and choose something else that conformed more to their expected norm, they're now saying if it feels unfair, it can be turned around, and they don't have to wallow in the unfairness. They don't have to go off to experience something else. They now are taking matters into their own hands because they can see that this is actual happiness. They're not moving forward right away, but it's like they're seeing the pattern. They're seeing the deeper things. What can we see for the Wheel of Fortune, divine feminines? In the reverse, it's not quite time yet. This is a timing card. So it's coming up on the horizon where the wheel is turning. The divine masculines are seeing through the obstacles here. They're working on it. Remember, it doesn't happen overnight. These kinds of obstacles that hold back this level of love are deep imprinted things. They're generational, they're societal. It takes a lot of wherewithal to be able to see through that stuff and actually adjust our thinking thought by thought towards honoring our hearts, honoring love, not buying into the stigmas that are unnecessary, that aren't even founded, that come against the love that is truly felt in these connections. What is the wish for the divine masculines at this time? Queen of Pentacles, that's the wifey card, that's the life partner card, that's seeing you, divine feminine, as a perfect match that they want in the physical, and I heard in their bed. Like, they want you, divine feminine. This is letting go of the past, though. This is, I was just totally taken. So they're letting go with the hesitancy, because that message just barged right through the format of this reading. It was like, they want you. So anything that held them back before, any earthly, worldly, material realm concern that held them back, they're letting go of it, because this is the truth on their heart. What are they experiencing about this now? They're in Hermit to think about this. They are rewriting the story, because they did tell themselves that this wasn't an appropriate connection, and now they're in Hermit to see, how can this work? What can it look like? What does feel right? What can they envision? Message, uncharted territory. So they're seeing, I'm feeling this heart drop in, so it's not uncharted territory because the heart knows. So it's not completely unfamiliar or unavailable. They do know. When they go into Hermit, when they look at the big picture, when they pay attention to what they really want in the future, they do see that you are the type of mind, I just heard, and the type of personality that will perfectly complement what they have to do. Whatever the deal breakers or obstacles were before, they're seeing that those are secondary to true compatibility and these zest for life things I just heard. What can we know for the feminines? Justice. They are seeing this is justified. So Queen of Pentacles is a wifey card. This is a marriage card. So for many, they do see you as the equivalent of marriage material. Whether that becomes the way that these connections are honored, that will be determined in each couple, but they are wishing for this kind of recognition eventually, because it's Hermit. There's a waiting period. What can we see for the actions the masculines are taking? Six of Wands, Lord of Victory. Yes, they are, again, barging through this victory. It's not in the past anymore. Any of the ways that they felt they couldn't show this connection publicly. This is the card of public recognition, in broad daylight. This is where people know about your connection, where there's no holding back. It doesn't have to be a secret. So they're letting go of whatever it was that stopped them from thinking that these connections could be, oh my goodness, we get the same card to clarify. So right now they're noticing big time that for whatever reason, these connections are not fully public knowledge, or for some, if you're in separation and people did know about your connection, they're feeling the concern that it's not more recognized. They're feeling like they've got a little bit of updates to give others if you were to come back onto the scene. But if your connection hasn't been publicly known, this is the divine counterpart looking at how they could introduce you in a different way. Or this for some is people in crossover friend groups are starting to know of you, maybe not in connection to your counterpart, but there is this merging knowledge of who you are. It can look so many different ways, but it's all about bridging the worlds, bridging the crossover here. What can we see for the Feminines, yes. So Seven of Swords, this is a card in the reverse that talks about keeping your interests to yourself. There is a bit of a caution here, Divine Feminines. We don't need to get ahead of ourselves and start talking inappropriately about the connection. If it has been on the down low, and that does not mean it's been shady, but if it's been on the down low, just keep honoring that. Honor your counterpart. Have your counterparts back. Don't disclose things that would be damaging or premature. Love is not boastful. I forgot to get the message on what the masculine cycles within cycles. So divine masculines are seeing, I just heard shame cycles from childhood where they were taught to hide and conceal things. Guilty pleasures, I'm hearing. So I'm even hearing that this can be shaming at puberty and all kinds of different things. I just heard sex addiction and pornography. So some of the counterparts, some of the addictions, I never really talk about pornography, but some of that can be also, for whatever reason, you are your divine counterpart's ideal. This is a message I've never channeled before. So it really is dredging all this to light, because what I'm seeing here is that for many divine masculines, many actually, because of this coming through in the YouTube, and I've never channeled it, it's many right now are realizing that you, divine feminine, are their kink or secret pleasure, whoever you are or whatever you represent, whatever the difference is between you and your counterpart, that is their biggest turn on. You were made perfectly to be your counterpart's ideal turn on. So whatever that thing is, and it's going to resonate for each whose masculines might be looking at those kinds of shameful sexual things. Not everyone's going to have a pornography secret, but there are lots of different aspects regarding sexuality. I'm hearing same-sex things, age differences, you name it. There are so many different factors that would turn people on that they don't readily want to talk about or admit. This is literally the divine masculines are realizing that part of the reason that they protect you and keep the connection back is because if your relationship came to light, people would know that they've been concealing these kinds of secret fantasies or I heard perversions, but they've self-criticized that they were perverted for wanting to be with someone like you. So that's a really interesting, there might have also been karmic wounding that made the masculines feel like the attraction they had for you was not appropriate in some way. So be really respectful. There's more than just they don't accept you going on here. Wow. Okay, what is the biggest challenge that the masculines are releasing? Not being able to reciprocate. This says Lord of Material Success. So if there has been an economic difference or some kind of financial hardship or time, they haven't been able to contribute time, they're letting go of feeling like they can't. This is kind of where there's a will, there's a way energy. They're letting go of where they haven't been able to show up, where they haven't felt like they could reciprocate, that all or nothing thing, like they haven't been coming forward because they felt they had to give everything. There are more layers of the onion coming up, and now it feels a little bit more productive to be able to contribute, and to receive, to give and receive, but that's still a challenge, is that they have had times when that wasn't available. Ace of Wands, passion. So they really are still trying to find their life purpose, their highest life path, and relate it to their finances. So the biggest challenge is finding something that they love to do for work. That is flat out like job satisfaction, mission, purpose, deepest fulfillment. They are trying to figure out what they can get behind, what inspired money-making plan they can have that would be able to match your extraordinary gifts and talents and service in the world. Divine feminines, you have been contributing into the world, and the divine masculines want to stride for stride with you. What would they say about this? Only ourselves can free our minds. So you are an inspiration to them, but they know they have to dig deep and really tap into what is it they are here to do? What is it that they have been holding back doing? Most of them know already the sort of affinity they have for things, but they have, for whatever reason, been either not making money at those passions, telling themselves it's not appropriate to make money at those passions, or they've been telling themselves those passions are not legitimate and that others would criticize them. So this is the biggest challenge.